any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
Our programs are getting better and fresher. And it's because we are thinking about you. NTA, it's all about you.
NTA language.
Jama'a masu kallon labaran NTA Hausa barkanmu da warhaka. Ni ne
Ekukale lode yin wise kudeya.
Igbo murum kachano.
Broadcasted in the language you understand better. Our programs transmitting on the Star Times platform 24 hours.
Àwọn onímọ̀ nípa ètò ẹ̀kọ́ lórílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà.
Hukumar tara kudaden haraji ta ƙasa.
Alani na ọchịchị mba United Arab Emirates UAE.
The only channel that speaks your
Chief change agent again gives assurance on the economy bouncing back to glory. And going back to the starting blocks to reform the budgeting process. And wetting the stage for a new calendar on Indo-Nigeria fraternity. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stover. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed confidence in the ability of Nigeria to bounce back after surmounting its economic challenges, given the abundant human and material resources bestowed on the country. He was speaking at an audience with the President of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari told the African Development Bank chief that with a resolute commitment of his administration towards addressing Nigeria's fundamental problems of economy, corruption and security, the abundant resource potentials of the country will be fully harnessed for genuine growth and development. As the president puts it, it will take hard work on our part, but we will make it. He said everything is being done towards achieving food sufficiency and security, while those who help themselves with the nation's wealth will be made to refund. President Buhari, who expressed Nigeria's appreciation for the helping hands being lent by the African Development Bank, assured its president, Nigerian-born Akinwumi Adesina, that the country will not disappoint him. The African Development Bank, Dr. Adesina said, is in full support of Nigeria's recent economic decisions, describing them as bold, tough, and comfortable, but right, saying the country will surely reap the dividends in the short and long run. Nigeria, he said, is too big to fail and should therefore count on the support of the bank. Consequently, Dr. Adesina unfolded various packages it has for Nigeria. These include a budget support of $1 billion, $300 million for job creation, $250 million for Northeast infrastructure development, $1 million grant to deal with the challenges of IDPs, $300 million for infrastructure development around the FCT, and $200 million for power supply. The African Development Bank president expressed delight with President Muhammadu Buhari's push on anti-corruption, as well as his stance on good governance. To this end, he said an institutional support grant of $4.8 million will be given to the EFCC and ICPC as part of the bank's contributions to the fight against corruption and other related offenses in Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari also received in audience the president of the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, where he promised that despite Nigeria's economic predicament, it will fulfill its obligations to the institution. This, he said, is to help the bank in carrying out its mandate of, among others, helping the less financially endowed West African countries. The president of the bank, Bashir Mamma, said the 30-year-old institution, as the financing arm of ECOWAS, has in furtherance of its mandate towards assisting less developed West African countries establish an airline after the national carriers of most member countries collapsed. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And the federal government has got a pat on the back for its diversification program, with advice for it to further widen the scope of the program. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo also received President of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, with whom he held talks on the diversification program. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Present at the meeting include the members of the economic management team. The African Development Bank's president, Akinwumi Adesina, says Nigeria, being the highest shareholder in the bank, needs to know the opportunities available in the bank that can assist in meeting some of our economic challenges. Dr. Adesina observes that the fall in crude oil price is a big challenge, as 98% of the nation's revenue comes from the oil and gas sector. He says the bank is ready to offer support to Nigeria.
We are looking to consider for our board, $1 billion to help them to deal with that particular deficit that is there. In addition to that, there are other challenges that the economy has, which is in terms of diversifying and deepening the level of diversification in critical sectors. So agriculture, solid minerals are very important, manufacturing is important, as well as industrial sector. And so the bank will provide, in total, between 2016 and 2017, a total of $4.1 billion to Nigeria in various areas, from power to infrastructure to agriculture and the private sector for SME finance lending.
The ADB chief executive says he expects ADB's portfolio in the country to increase to about $10 billion by 2019. Kemi Adeosun is the Minister of Finance.
We're looking to them for the $1 billion budget support. But beyond that, there are a number of loans and initiatives around agriculture, around job creation for the youth, around solid minerals, around women's empowerment and women's access to finance and finance for small and medium-sized businesses. So all the things really that this government and this economic management team are trying to deliver on, we see the ADB as a great partner and a great supporter. So we're...
Although the former Nigerian's Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development has been visiting the country, this is his first official visit since he assumed office as the president of the African Development Bank. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Vice President of India, Mr. Hamid Ansari, has arrived in Nigeria on a 3-day official visit. He was received on arrival by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and his wife. While in Nigeria, the two leaders will hold bilateral talks covering relations between both countries. The visitor will also be granted audience by President Buhari and will also deliver a lecture at the National Defense College in Abuja before visiting Lagos State, where he will also deliver a lecture at the University of Lagos. Hamid Ansari has been accompanied by his spouse and a high-level business delegation. The Nigerian delegation to the 71st United Nations General Assembly says Nigeria's outing has given the country a new global rating on issues of climate change, humanitarian concerns, and security. Gabriel Odu spoke with some of them.
Mr. President, let me conclude by reaffirming Nigeria's abiding faith in the United Nations and in her capacity to support member states to deliver on the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. I thank you.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I wish to thank the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the statement just made. May I request representatives to remain seated while we greet the President.
From the general debate presided by Nigeria's Foreign Minister, Geoffrey Oyama, to sideline events, national issues of global interest were put forward. What therefore are the takeaways?
The takeaway is that we've just underscored our commitment to the historic agreement that was happened in Paris. We've signed the Paris Agreement now. It includes a commitment to our NDC, and then we will hope to ratify at COP22 in Morocco.
This is intended that when Mr. President finally returns and these treaties are forwarded or conventions, it becomes necessary to forward them to the legislature, it will be easier to paddle them through, the legislators having been part of the ceremony.
As a nation, we are fully and totally committed towards combating the devastating effects of climate change, and by so doing benefit from the immense opportunities that abound.
Diaspora can be a major part of the solution to whatever challenges we're going through at this point in time. And President Buhari has instructed that we ensure that we achieve success with our brothers and sisters in the diaspora.
In New York, Gabriel Udu, NTA News.
ECOWAS parliamentarians want the federal government to be more strategic in its efforts to get the country out of the prevailing economic recession. Joseph Orok reports that this was the fallout of the country's report presented to the parliament by a Nigerian group of parliamentarians.
As it is titled in the order paper, Countries Reports, Nigeria, Liberia, Togo and Guinea took their turn to give an update on the general socio-economic and political situation in their countries. The country's report also analyzes the status of implementation of ECOWAS programs, as well as human rights, democracy, and good governance situations in the region. Although reports from Liberia, Togo, and Guinea attracted reactions, parliamentarians focus more on issues bordering on economic recession in Nigeria, efforts by governments to release Chibok girls, the fight against terrorism, and pipeline vandalism.
A lot more could have been done, particularly worried about Chibok girls. So I had to assure them in my report that a lot is being done.
The parliamentarians urged the federal government to strengthen its dialogue mechanism with the militants in Niger Delta region of the country to forestall further loss of oil revenue occasioned by pipeline vandalism. Joseph Orok, NTA News.
And financial analysts say there is need for coordinated synergy of the fiscal and monetary policies to review the current interest rate for desired economic growth. This was the unanimous view of guests on NTA's program Good Morning Nigeria on solutions to the current high lending rate. Salihu Abdullahi reports.
The discussants identified various reforms such as the review of electricity tariff, removal of fuel subsidy, and the increment of non-performing loans as crucial in high lending rates.
The reality is that we've got to sit around the table and actually agree what it is we have to do. I just get the sense that there is no coordination, there is no handshake, there is no clapping with two hands. It's not happening. Because if it does, honestly, a lot of solutions, a lot of things will be resolved. We've got a lot of bright people in this country.
But it is important that we should know that there are agencies of government in this country. There are banks established specifically to deliver low credit to manufacturers. What are they doing? Where is the Bank of Industry? Where is NCRDB?
Whatever we choose to implement in this country, we need to have the patience. The central bank has demonstrated that by continuing to stay with their course of action, even when they had not seen an immediate result.
To create the desired business-friendly environment and positively turn around Nigeria's economic fortune, the guest said there should be consistency in and enforcement of policies.
Today, you have a situation whereby our GDP is minus 2.3. That is about 800% fall in our GDP.
And for this nation to make progress, we need the government to help us and assist us to make sure that we can continue to produce and make reasonable profit.
The values that needs to be in Nigerians, believing in themselves and believing in their country, believing in the fact that we have a lot of things, we can do things for ourselves without even looking offshore. That is absolutely important.
They said Nigerians need to work hard to turn around the economy. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Staying with economic matters, the Nigeria Labour Congress has inaugurated a 10-member committee to engage the government on the way forward to end the current economic challenges. Labour correspondent Emmanuel Ayimi Rowe reports that the committee comprises professionals and the academia.
Labor movements all over the world are known to contribute to growth, progress and development of their countries, particularly in time of crisis. At a time like this in Nigeria, where solutions are being sought on how to end the economic crisis, the Nigerian Labour Congress is canvassing for policy change where necessary.
We must engage those issues from the intellectual angle, of which I think we have more than enough within the rank and file of the working class to try to engage those issues.
On the sale of national assets, NLC wants government to adopt effective tax justice system which has yielded positive results in Lagos rather than selling national assets.
If the high and the mighty and everybody is able to pay tax, we are certain that where people pay correct tax, it is possible for us to have enough to drive our economy. As citizens, we have a responsibility to protect these assets for our generation and even for generation yet unborn.
While also advising the government to continue to block leakages, NLC expects the committee to interface with government on the union's position to develop and present policy alternatives that will bail out the country from recession. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
The House of Representatives Committee on Ethics and Privileges has rounded off its investigative hearing on the alleged breach of members' rights by Representative Abdulmumin Jibrin. The committee's report is expected to be presented to the House at plenary. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that Representative Jibrin did not appear before the committee.
Monday's Ethics Committee sitting commenced with the African Independent Television and Channels Television news outfit invited to confirm if the content of the compact disc presented as exhibit by Representative Emmanuel Okejev were actually copies of their programs. Only Channels representatives Yemisi Ipaye and Lanre Lasisi appeared.
The person appearing to do the interview looks like Shen.
Thereafter, the committee chairman called for the appearance of Representative Abdulmumin Jibrin. Realizing that he was not in attendance and did not send his lawyers, Representative Osai announced a 30-minute break. Upon reconvening from the break, the chairman announced that Representative Abdulmumin Jibrin sent in a letter stating the condition upon which he will appear.
He has made his own defense. Most importantly, the letter which he wrote to us indicated that he will not appear. Since the session of this committee has been carrying the press along.
The committee has had issues with some of the media reports of its sittings. However, commended NTA's professionalism so far.
Most especially the Sunday issue, where our colleagues raised some issues, and issues that borders and some areas raised by him, and which the NTA deemed it fit to get a balanced report, and they reached out to me.
The committee is expected to review the various testimonies before presenting its report to the House at plenary. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
On a bit on security matters now, troops of the Nigerian army have repelled an attack by some suspected remnants of Boko Haram fighters who attacked them at Lumani along Dikwa Gambaru Road in Borno State. Acting Director Army Public Relations Colonel Saniku Kacheka Usman, in a statement, says the troops fought gallantly and repelled the attack, which lasted about an hour. The fierce encounter recorded the deaths of 22 Boko Haram fighters, 4 soldiers, while 2 other soldiers were wounded. The troops recovered rifles and some hand grenades, while the location has been reinforced and replenished as the troops continue their clearance operations. In a related development, troops of Operation Lafia Doli on patrol from Maiduguri encountered improvised explosive devices in an ambush between Miyanti and Daril Jamal, Borno State. The ambush was cleared and 3 Boko Haram terrorists were killed and guns and ammunition recovered. An officer and 3 soldiers lost their lives, while 16 soldiers and 3 civilian JTF members sustained injuries. The wounded are receiving medical attention and are in stable condition. And as internally displaced persons continue to return to their communities, the Borno State government has intensified efforts towards rebuilding communities ravaged by insurgency. It is against this backdrop that Governor Kashim Shettima temporarily relocated to Bama town to fast-track the process. Lami Ali has details.
The relocation of the governor and his aides to fast-track reconstruction work is a demonstration of government's commitment to resettle and rehabilitate the hundreds of thousands of IDPs forced to live in camps at various locations in the state and other parts of Nigeria, including neighboring countries.
Even out of solidarity with our troops, we should come here and work for the greatness of Bama.
The State Environmental Protection Agency has mobilized hundreds of its staff to clear and fumigate Bama, preparatory to the return of IDPs. This is in addition to 500 members of the Civilian Joint Task Force who are supervising the clearing of communities. The governor had earlier requested the deployment of additional 500 police personnel to reinforce security in Bama and environs. The GOC 7th Division Brigadier General Victor Izugu, who is on the governor's entourage, restated the resolve of the Nigerian Armed Forces to sustain the peace in liberated communities of Borno and the Northeast. Governor Kashim Shettima had, while hosting officials of the Danish Refugee Council in Bama, led by the country director, reassured that no IDP would be compelled to return to their communities, adding that support to those in need would be continuous. In Maiduguri, Lami Ali, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the new appointments of the following chief executives in 13 federal government agencies. This is contained in a statement by Director Press Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Bolaji AfDB. Mr. Joseph Ari is Director General, Industrial Training Fund. Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, Director General, National Information Technology Development Agency. Simbi Kesie Wabote, Executive Secretary, Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. Others are Aboluma Osita Anthony, Standards Organization of Nigeria. Mama Amadu, Bureau of Public Procurement. Sharon Ikeazo, Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PITAD. Akodundo Gloria, National Coordinator, New Partnership for Africa's Development, NEPAD. Ahmed Boboy for Petroleum Equalization Fund. And Umana Oko Umana, Managing Director, Oil and Gas Free Zone Authority. The others are Saadia Farouk, Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. Usman Abubakar, Chairman, Nigerian Railway Corporation. Bello Aliu Gusau, Executive Secretary, Petroleum Technology Development Fund, and Yamande Sadiku for Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission. You can watch this broadcast live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device, at the Google Play Store, or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. And coming ahead, Kwara State goes for an infrastructural fund to quicken sustainable development. The details when we return.
President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the program of events to commemorate Nigeria's 56th independence anniversary. Detail of the program is as follows. Friday, 30th September, public lecture 11 a.m. to 12:50 p.m. Venue, National Mosque, Abuja. Attendance is open. Jumat prayers 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Venue, National Mosque, Abuja. Attendance is open. Saturday, 1st October, presidential change of guard. Venue, forecourt of the Presidential Villa, State House, Abuja. Attendance is strictly by invitation. Bolaji Adebi, Director Press, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Announcer.
Whether you love to chit-chat, upload, or catch up on the latest gist, or you love to stream live videos, or you love to download a lot, you can do it all whenever, wherever deliver at the friendliest data rates. Dial *131# to find the internet bundle that's perfect for you. And enjoy more data, more friendships, and more fun.
MTN, everywhere you go. Get ready to move on up with EcoBank. Easy access to your account wherever you are in the world. More ATMs across Africa than any other bank, so there's always one closer to you. The freedom to pay with a card instead of cash. To bank with your mobile anytime, anywhere. Or send money thousands of miles in a flash. Plus, smart ways to save and invest so your children can move on up too. And trust EcoBank to help with the things that matter most. Visit us online today and move on up with EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
A famous boxer once said, "The fight is won long before you step into the ring." It takes massive investment, dedication, planning, and during fierce competition, never backing down. In 2005, Glo invested in the world's only privately owned undersea data cable, then connected this to its extensive fiber optic network throughout Nigeria, which seamlessly delivers flexible and affordable data plans for everyone, making Glo Nigeria's largest data network in new subscriptions. You see, it's not what you step into the ring with that makes you the master. It's everything you did to get you there. Enjoy our new data overload. Double your data on every plan, like 6 gigabytes for 2,000 naira, 12 gigabytes for 3,000 naira, and 24 gigabytes for 5,000 naira. Dial *777# to select a plan. The largest data network, Glo, Grandmasters of Data.
The Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu Adamu, the Honorable Minister of State for Education, Professor Anthony Gozie Anguka, cordially invite the Honorable Commissioners for Education in the 36 states, Federal Capital Territory Secretary for Education, State Permanent Secretary of Education, and all education stakeholders to the 61st National Council on Education NCE meeting holding in Abuja. Date, Tuesday 27th to Friday 30th September 2016. Venue, Ladi Kwali Hall, Sheraton Hotel, Abuja. Time, 9 a.m. daily. Signed, Dr. Folashade Yemieson, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
The National Council on Finance and Economic Development, NACOFED 2016, will be holding its annual conference in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Finance. Theme of the conference is enhancing revenue generation and obtaining best value for money in expenditure. Participants, all state commissioners of finance, all state accountants general, all state permanent secretaries of finance ministries, all state commissioners of budget and planning, all state chairman board of internal revenue, all state permanent secretaries, budget, and all other finance stakeholders. Goodwill message by former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo GCFR. Keynote address by His Excellency Senator Ibikunle Amosun, CON FCA Executive Governor of Ogun State. Welcome address by Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, Honorable Minister of Finance. Date 27 to 28 September 2016. Venue Green Legacy Resort, Abeokuta, Ogun State. Time 8 a.m. daily. Announcer Local Organizing Committee.
Finally, the masquerade has been unveiled.
As a former two-time governor of Edo State, I said it before that the next governor will also come from this family. Our brother, our son, Osage Izeyamu. And I want to assure you that come the 28th, we can come and celebrate tomorrow.
Next year will be greater. Amen. It will be the state that will be hosting the birthday.
You heard him. Osage Izeyamu to make Esama's birthday an Edo State event from next year. Who knows? He could even declare it a public holiday. Edo people, treasury looters must not be allowed to return to power. We are wiser now. This message is courtesy Edo Professionals.
Thanks for staying with us on Network News. As a critical feature in governance and its impact on the citizenry, the annual budget brings together the executive and legislative arms of government. In view of this, the maiden colloquium on the democratic project has held with focus on how to reform the budgetary process and make it a veritable tool for an efficient relationship. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adegunloye reports.
With the recent controversy surrounding the budget, this colloquium convened by the orderpaper.ng is described as timely and a golden opportunity to iron out issues concerning the public purse. There were submissions by the Deputy Senate President, the Speaker, House of Representatives, the former Speaker and now the Governor of Sokoto State, and others.
As soon as the appropriation committee get hold of the budget, they immediately hold public hearings for business leaders, NGOs, public servants, representatives of blue-collar workers, farmers, and the general public. This will eventually lead to a document that at least has inputs from a cross-section of the Nigerian society.
If there's any bill that requires public hearing, it is an appropriation bill. But because it does not come on time, we find it extremely difficult to subject it to public hearing.
Budget reform process will involve, and I specified them, a review of the legal framework to ensure that the annual budget is submitted on time. There must be a robust pre-budget interface between the executive and legislature to reduce areas of friction during the appropriation process.
We will reform the budget process when the budget is completely passed on the floor of the legislature, and it is reflected on the votes and proceedings and certified along to the President or the Governor for assent.
A position by the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udoma, was read by the Director, Economic Growth at the Ministry.
After the Constitution, the next most important legal document in democracy is the Annual Appropriation Act.
On the subject matter, panelists identified challenges and solutions to the budget process.
The National Assembly needs a budget office staffed with highly skilled economists, financial experts, at par with the people, the sort of people they have on the executive.
It is expected that a communique will be put in place for greater synergy between the two arms of government for a smoother budgetary process. In Abuja, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
Onto some politics now. 19 standard bearers and their deputies from 19 political parties that fielded candidates to control the heart of Edo State will slug it out on Wednesday, the 28th of September. Ifeanyi Okafor reports that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it is committed to ensuring a credible exercise.
The inland state of Edo, South Nigeria, is at the center of attention, locally and internationally, as political activities heightened barely 2 days to the governorship election. The Independent National Electoral Commission, having put behind the issues leading to the postponement of the earlier date for the election, says it is now even better positioned to conduct a free, fair and credible exercise.
So we had to do reverse logistics, bring back certain materials, bring back materials from the field to the local government offices, and then other materials like the card reader to the state office to be reconfigured.
Sensitive and non-sensitive materials deployed for the elections have been safely deposited in the 18 local government areas of the state for onward distribution to the wards and voting points across the state. Expectations of registered voters and other observers are for the major contenders to the election to play by the rules and avoid acts that could create political tension amongst the citizenry.
INEC must organize and hold an election where the people will vote and where the vote will count. Where the slogan of one man, one vote, one woman, one vote, one youth, one vote must count.
I want to urge the indigenes of that state to make sure that conducive environment is created. The issue of ballot box snatching, stuffing, thuggery, with the introduction of these our new card readers, have reduced tremendously.
my expectation about the Edo election to be successful and peaceful.
With a population of about 4 million people, Edo State was created in 1991 with its capital in Benin City. The state has a voting population of 1.4 million people. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Okafor, NTA News.
And still on the Edo governorship poll, police deploys 25,000 personnel for the election. Let's get the details as we link up with Ogo Chukwuka in our Benin Network Center. Hello.
Hello, Cyril. Welcome to Benin. The Nigeria Police has deployed 25,000 personnel and tactical team for Edo State governorship election on September 28th. Muhammad Abdul Kadri reports that the Independent National Electoral Commission has taken delivery of sensitive electoral materials.
In addition to the personnel, 12 armored personnel carriers and 3 helicopters have been deployed for the election.
You know the armored cars, if there's any marauding firearms bearer, we use this to pursue.
The DIG said Edo State governorship election will be a test case for the police and other key players to prove their ability to conduct credible election. Meanwhile, governorship candidates have made last-minute appeal to the electorate to vote for them.
We want to focus more on people, because whether it's infrastructure, whether it's education, all of this is geared towards making life better for the people.
I'm bringing expertise, I'm bringing contact, bringing knowledge into play.
The people of Edo State should expect a dividend.
With the delivery of sensitive materials, the Independent National Electoral Commission says it is determined to conduct credible election. The national chairman of APC, John Odige Oyegun, and the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Osage Ihanire, have also appealed to the electorate.
I believe that all true patriots of Edo State would like a continuation of the tempo of development.
I call on the people of Edo State is to vote right.
In Benin, Muhammad Abdul Kadri, NTA News.
In the meantime, Edo State government has declared Tuesday and Wednesday public holiday to enable workers actively participate in the governorship election. The governor made the pronouncement at a grand reception hosted by organized labor in the state to honor him. Agatha Egwarojo reports.
Edo State workers appreciating the remarkable changes the governor has brought to the state, and a statement that workers have never had it so good. They converged on Dr. Samuel Abuja College to say well done to the comrade governor for being a good labor ambassador. From the prompt payment of salaries, increment of minimum wage to 25,000 naira, provision of conducive working environment, especially for teachers in the many reconstructed schools, to approval in the promotion of civil servants to grade level 17, abolishing retirement from 35 years of service to 60 years of age are among the many benefits the workers are thanking him for.
From now on, there will be no more week gap between when you retire and my great profession.
The APC governorship candidate, Gordon Obaseki, promised organized labor that he will sustain the cordial relationship between labor and government. In Benin, Agatha Egwaruju, NTA News.
We return to Cyril in Abuja for the continuation of the news. Good evening.
Thank you, Ogo Chukwuka. Nigeria will bring into reality the achievements of universal primary education by 2030. Minister of Education, Malam Adamu stated this at the Stakeholders Forum on the implementation of the 2030 Education Agenda and the inauguration of the Global Education Monitoring Report 2016. Abdullahi Musa Suleja has details.
Global Education Monitoring Report 2016, titled Education for People and Planet, Creating Sustainable Future for All, is born out of the adoption of the Sustainable Development Goals SDGs. Malam Adam enjoined all partners to ensure that agreements reached at the forum as next steps are effectively and efficiently implemented.
We are not unaware of the challenges that will be encountered, but with the cooperation of all stakeholders, the ministry and the country is equal to the task.
Compiled by UNESCO. This goal is in tandem with the Federal Ministry of Education's strategic plan caption Education for Change, a ministerial strategic plan 2016 to 2019.
What the Global Education Monitoring Report 2016 tries to do is to look at each of the targets and the respective indicators, and where possible to try to determine baselines for monitoring that we are initiating from now until 2030.
Towards 2030, a new vision for education is to transform lives through education, with a commitment to a holistic, ambitious and aspirational one that ensures inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. In Abuja, Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
Kwara State Government has launched an infrastructural development fund scheme for sustainable development. Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed said it would end the era of abandoned projects and stimulate economic growth. Abdul Hafiz Alaya reports.
The signing of Kwara State Infrastructure Development Fund agreement signals the beginning of private sector participation in the development of the state for collective prosperity. The fund, according to Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed, is a framework to close infrastructure gap in the state in line with the current economic reality. It disclosed that the IFK will be managed by a reputable investment company and partners appointed by law as trustees to ensure accountability. The scheme, which is to be funded with initial 5 billion naira and monthly contribution of 500 million naira from the state IGR, will guarantee prompt payment of contractors as well as timely completion of all developmental projects.
This implies that the money will be taken at source from the state's internally generated revenue and provides an additional layer of assurance to project partners. Additional non-IGR funds, such as those from the federal government and global development partners, will be added to the IFK as they become available.
The stakeholders describe Kwara State Infrastructure Development Fund as a morale booster for investors and a model for other states to emulate.
So what that means is for the contractor, all they need to do is to focus on getting the job done. Payment is assured.
All developmental projects with 300 million naira and above are to be captured under IFK payments grid, while smaller projects will continue to be funded through other platforms. In Ilorin, Abdelafiz Alaya, NTA News.
The lack of articulated roadmap to coordinate the activities of agencies involved in the rehabilitation of the Northeast after devastation by Boko Haram is a major challenge in the quest for rapid rebuilding of the region. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai said this at a regional conference on peace building and reconstruction in the Chad Basin organized by the Center for Peace and Security Studies, EULA. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
According to the United Nations Nigerian office, as of November 2015, there are 2.2 million internally displaced persons in the northeast Nigeria due to the activities of Boko Haram that started in 2009, while economic resources worth over 1.8 trillion naira destroyed.
Our nations around the Lake Chad Basin have had to deal with an unfamiliar security challenges which have taken unprecedented tolls on lives and on our economies.
The fact that the Nigerian military, in conjunction with sister security agencies from the country and other affected neighboring nations, have successfully degraded the terrorist group is no longer news. What is important to experts in this regional conference is how to effectively rehabilitate and reconstruct the entire zone.
This conference will be a significant forum that should draw attention to the intimate linkages between the fight against the Boko Haram insurgents, the vital steps required to reconstruct and rehabilitate citizens, communities, and the economy.
Any resolution of the crisis must involve all our neighbors, particularly the near neighbors of Cameroon, Chad, and Niger.
Guests at the event say, considering the large scale of destruction, the social and psychological effect of the war, more rapid assistance is required from the international community. From Yola, in Adamawa State. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The National Human Rights Commission has taken steps towards addressing the alleged violation of the rights of a construction company by the Nigerian Navy. Executive Secretary of the Commission, Professor Bem Angwe, received a delegation from the Nigerian Navy on the matter. Justin Bem Unyi has details.
On the 19th of September, the company filed a petition at the Commission alleging that armed naval personnel early in the year at various capacities abused the inalienable rights of its management and staff on the project site and also threatened further violations. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, represented by the Managing Director of Naval Building and Construction Company, Commodore Abdul Adamu, appeared before the Commission following a summon for fact-finding.
On our part, we are going to respond appropriately, but for clarity, most of the allegations are not correct. But we are before the Commission, we are going to respond to those human rights allegations as he has labeled.
The Commission maintained investigations on the matter will be prompt and impartial.
Nigerians will know the outcome of our investigation. In accordance with our rules of procedure, as you have come here, we will give you an opportunity to state your side and we'll take your statements on note.
Justin Bem Unyi, NTA News.
And it's time now to link up with Ademola, who's in our Lagos Network Center, to bring you more reports on network news. Ademola, it's yours now.
Thank you, Cyril. Good evening and welcome to Lagos. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says nonchalant attitude and impunity are responsible for the decay and collapse of federal government printing press, Apapa, Lagos. The minister said this when he inspected facilities at the printing press. Anthony Forson reports.
In 1913, with the mandate to print all federal government's ministries, departments, and agencies' documents, the printing press lived up to its name and mandate. 103 years after, what one will expect to remain as the nation's pride is today an eyesore, or better put, a junkyard. All these machines are not serviceable any longer on account of long neglect. With perforated roof, water seeps in when it rains. Some areas are as bad as this, while working areas are in this condition. The training school is not isolated from the decay. One area that has some semblance of comfort is the computer room because of these air conditioners. That in itself was courtesy of the workers' ingenuity. For the powerhouse, certainly it is out of date. Another shocking revelation the minister discovered are these printers. They were purchased in 2006 and were not installed, and now they are rotting away. Every section of the printing press has collapsed completely, with the workers there redundant. The minister, at an interactive session with the workers, bared his mind about his disappointment on how such a national asset could be grounded.
What we are witnessing today is the product of many years of deterioration, many years of neglect, many years of impunity. For an organization which is more than 100 years old, it is not reflected in our capacity, it's not reflected in the modernness of our structure, but we must be bold and we must be courageous. We must look for something which is not just a quick fix. Because the way I look at this edifice or this organization, it's not about a quick fix. It's about a root and branch restructuring, reorganization, and rebuilding of this place.
He later stated that the present administration will not condone such attitude in this era of change.
You owe Nigeria, you owe the government the duty not just to be law-abiding, but also to embrace the new campaign of government that change must begin with you also. Otherwise, our children will suffer from the iniquities and impunities that we're indulging in today.
In Lagos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
From Lagos, we now take a break for another message for some messages, after which the news continues from Abuja. Stay with us.
It's data. It's what you use every time you download music. It's what streams movies. It's what the banks use to check your account.
It's the very lifeblood of modern living. Data. And where does it all come from? According to industry sources, more and more of it came from here. They acknowledge that Glo is now the largest data network in Nigeria. With your own Glo One submarine cable linked seamlessly to tens of thousands of kilometers with your own fiber optic cable, Glo can provide a huge data capacity anywhere at a more flexible and affordable price than anyone. It's simple. So you see, Glo is in the air. It's everywhere. Say hello to the Grandmaster.
Join Glo to jollificate with 8 times the value on every recharge, plus free data to give. Every recharge allows data and voice.
The largest data network, Glo, Grandmasters of Data.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
National Pension Commission, in partnership with Pension and Investment, the World Pension Summit announces the 2016 edition of the World Pension Summit Africa Special.
By the next time we sit here today, we would have developed sustainable pension principles for investment.
Pension funds should not be seen as a savings on the people who put their money in the funds to be used for current government's consumption.
The Summit for All Africa Pension Professionals presents Impact Investing, the outlook for African pension funds, the dynamics of pension investment, emerging insurer role, actuarial issues and their impact on pension benefits. Theme for this year's summit is Pension Innovations, the African Perspective. Date is 27 and 28 September 2016. Venue is Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. Visit www.worldpensionsummitafricaspecial.com to register.
Hey, brother, there's an endless road to rediscover. The sky comes falling down. There's nothing in this world I wouldn't do. What if I'm far from home? Oh, brother, I will hear you call. There's nothing in this world I wouldn't do.
Clorets chewing gum neutralizes bad odor. It doesn't just disguise them, it gives you real minty breath.
In Nigeria, there is one sound we need to silence. So let's silence toothache before it starts with Oral-B All-Round Protection. Its advanced technology helps prevent both tooth holes and gum problems that can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your teeth, giving them all-round protection. Because the only sound we really want to hear is that of our future. For healthier, stronger teeth in 1 week.
News continues from Abuja. The Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, says the executive will collaborate with the legislature in promoting openness in the procurement process. Details of this and more with Leah Katum Babatunde.
Welcome to Business News at 9. The Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, has called for more openness in the process of public procurement in the country. The minister, who was speaking at a media party in Abuja, said efforts are on with the legislative arm of government in addressing the issue for the benefits of Nigeria and Nigerians.
I think it's still important that we should have open procurement. Why? It's open procurement that gives us the best pricing. Open procurement gives opportunities to Nigerians. You don't have to know anybody in government. If you see an advert, you can put in, and if you're the most successful, you'll be awarded. So, you know, you have to balance the two. What we need is speed, and that's what we need the National Assembly to help us with. We don't have the power to truncate the law. The law is there for a process, but these are not usual times. These are unusual times.
Next is a graphic illustration of trading figures on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange at the close of Monday's session. Oil prices in the OPEC group of countries will make another attempt this week to reverse the slump in crude prices. Algeria's Energy Minister Noureddin Bouteflika said there would be an informal gathering of OPEC members on the sidelines of an energy conference in Algiers on Wednesday. The fall in prices has been causing problems for poorer members of OPEC. Now that's business news for this hour. The bulletin will continue shortly.
Thank you, Leah. We've got some more messages. We'll be right back.
Nigeria at 56, the gains, challenges and prospects in focus. This week on NTA Tuesday Live, as analysts x-ray the journey so far and the way for changes for the better. NTA Tuesday Live, incisive, educative and informative. Join us.
Jago for the winner and you.
Smoking is bad for your heart. It is one of the main causes of coronary heart disease. To keep your heart healthy, avoid smoking.
Would you like some water? It's cold, especially for you.
Which era are you living in? We have a fridge.
When everything else in your house is from the present, then why are your toilet cleaning methods from the past? Harpic, all-in-one for you. Compared to other toilet cleaners, Harpic removes top stains, kills all germs, and removes bad odors for a shining, clean, and fresh toilet.
Wow.
You should also take the Harpic
all-in-one challenge.
What happened? It was a mosquito. Daddy, here.
What's happening here?
Mama, mosquitoes.
I sprayed, but the mosquitoes aren't dying. No longer, because I've bought Motain Power Guard, which kills 100% mosquitoes.
Mortain Power Guard kills 100% mosquitoes.
Our latest edition of TV Guide is out. This edition of your favorite magazine will simply blow your mind. The package is loaded and our offering is quite illuminating. NTA has a new Director General, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, a tested and trusted professional, an old wine that keeps getting better with age. This is the new driver of the digital switch over train. Get to know him more in TV Guide. And now, on our cover is one of Nigeria's most finest comic actors, Afiz Oyetoro, aka Saka. Peep into his world and you will see how he is putting from glory to glory. The change agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari, we did an assessment so far. All our refreshing columns and incisive features are a collector's item and research materials. TV Guide, available on your newsstands and in all NTA stations nationwide. Also in our embassies in United Kingdom, USA, China, Ghana and Egypt. TV Guide, grab a copy and give one to a friend. TV Guide, still your indispensable companion.
That's just about it on NTA Network News tonight. Just a quick reminder that you can get all our stories and much more. You log on to our website, www.nt